Man, that felt good. I think we're live, man. In your face Monday Night Raw, huh? In your face. In your trash. Monday Night Raw. What a god awful show this was, man. Holy shit. Oh, man. Keith Lee, man. What a fucking failure, huh? Guy ends up with 3 disqualifications and a no contest in his first month on the main roster. And then tonight gets beat up by his ex-best friend and his current girlfriend. Oh, man, you can't make this stuff up, bro. Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. Mickie James versus Asuka, which was absolutely god-awful. Dominik versus Seth Rollins. The Street Profits versus Nakamura and Cesaro. The Hurt Business. Braun Strowman even made an appearance on Monday Night Raw. Why? I don't know. The show's bad enough. I'll tell you what is in your face, though, and it's not trash. I'm in your face. Off the Script is in your face, and we're gonna do it #1 right here for another Monday night on Off the Script.
Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, hipster hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me live right here on Off the Script. In your face. In your face. Bruce, my good old buddy, Bruce wants to give us a Monday Night Raw that's in your face. But he doesn't realize that every time Monday Night Raw hits the USA Network, it's not in your face, it's in your trash. Monday Night Raw was absolutely fucking terrible tonight. Over, under. What are the ratings for Monday Night Raw going to be tomorrow when Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer newsletter tweets out the ratings while WWE went up against MLB, the NBA, the NHL, and the return of Monday Night Football? I gave them a generous 1.5. Now, in fact, I hope they get lower than 1.5. So then we can really get AEW just nearing and inching closer, since they got 1 million viewers this past Wednesday. I don't know if they're going to do that again this week because NXT's back on Wednesday, but at least combined, we can get AEW and NXT much greater in the ratings than Monday Night Raw, man. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the hell I watched tonight. I don't really understand how difficult it is to book this show. There is a lot to complain about tonight. booking decisions, matches, the quality of the matches, why Keith Lee is in a fucking singlet. How many times has this company changed Keith Lee's theme music or attire or the way he cuts a promo? My God, man, Keith Lee was one of my favorite in NXT, even when he wasn't being used, and we all lobbied for him to be used, and now he's on Monday Night Raw, and he's boring as fucking dishwater. It is unbelievable what this show does to somebody called up or demoted from NXT, man. We all say Chris Jericho, everything that man touches turns to gold. Everything that Monday Night Raw touches turns to fucking shit. What a god-awful show tonight, man. My God. Street Profits versus Cesaro and Nakamura. WWE had one thing to do in that match. Did they do it? Of course not. Of course not. Why would they? They don't give a fuck about tag team wrestling. Mickie James and Asuka, I don't know what the fuck I watched, but holy shit. What an awful Women's Championship match. Even more awful is who Asuka is being set up with next going into the pay-per-view. Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. We all knew that nobody was going to win that match. This guy, Keith Lee's on the main roster. He's been in fucking 4 matches with Randy Orton, if you include the triple threat match. He's had 3 disqualifications and 1 no contest. Why do you even bother to put him in this situation? Like, what is the fucking point? What is the point? Raw Underground happened tonight. They built Daba Kato up last week. And they sacrificed Aleister Black and Kevin Owens on Raw Underground last week. Why? I don't know. Maybe Bruce got a little fucking risky. Maybe wanted to push the envelope. So what do they do to follow that up? Absolutely nothing. Now they got Braun Strowman on Raw Underground. Braun Strowman on Raw Underground, man. I never seen somebody in the history of WWE not want to go back after their Universal Championship in which they were robbed from Roman Reigns. I guess he doesn't give a shit about the Universal Championship anymore. He just wants to show up on Monday Night Raw. Here's a fucking clue, Strowman, dummy. We don't need you on this show. This show is already fucking terrible. You're just going to make it worse. We got Lana being buried tonight by WWE. What else is new? I got geeks in the community arguing with me. Oh, that's a little too much. I think you're reaching with that one, JD. Really? A couple weeks ago, they got Lana and Natalya talking about fucking TikTok and boats or whatever the fuck they were talking about. And then 1 week after Miro made his debut on AEW, Nia Jax of all fucking people puts Lana through a table. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't done by design, right? Yeah, but Vince McMahon is a good-hearted human being, though, right? All I gotta hear is, Vince McMahon hugging Dominik after his SummerSlam match. Vince McMahon's a good human being. He's a good man, right? Yeah, he's a businessman. He don't give a fuck. That's petty bullshit. Angel Garza and Andrade, what happened with that? I don't know. Apparently they broke up. They started fighting on Monday Night Raw tonight, and then within 15 seconds, you never heard another peep from either one of those guys on the show tonight. This show was a fucking disaster in every sense of the word, man. I don't even know if the 2 hours that I've allotted myself here is going to be enough to cover it all. Sucks. This show sucks. I fucking hate this show, man. I swear to Christ, if I didn't have to do this shit, I would not be here right now, man. I would have been on fucking Modern Warfare. I would have been streaming on Twitch. But I gotta watch In Your Trash Monday Night Raw tonight. In your face. Another fucking desperation attempt to go up against the NFL. Nobody's watching your fucking show. I don't give a fuck what you put on this show. Nobody's watching you. You already lost. You might as well fucking just admit defeat at that point. No matter what you do, nobody is watching. this shit tonight. My God, man. Clash of Champions, trash of champions is what I'm going to fucking call it in 3 weeks. Monday Night Raw continues to be one of the worst shows on television, and we're going to go over it all right here on the podcast. Oh, JD is too negative, man. Negative? Motherfucker, man. I am the bringer of truth here. Well, you got fucking idiots in the community shilling the ending. Oh, it was a good brawl. Oh, that was a good brawl. Really? I want to see WWE make sense of what happened in that main event tonight. It's a very simple thing. It's a very simple solution here. You gave me a no contest. Great. You got the ones who interfered in the match. Correct. Great. Keith Lee's in the main event. Great. Now all you gotta do is feud Dominik Dijakovic with Keith Lee and get him out of this fucking program that he's obviously going nowhere in. You already set yourselves up. They've already wrestled about 17 fucking times on NXT. What's another 3 or 4 more on Monday night every single week? There you go. Now they got a reason for being on Monday Night Raw. Their leader is best friends with Keith Lee. I just saved you all the fucking headache in Stamford, Connecticut in that boardroom on Tuesday morning while you prep next week's show. Simple. That's what came out of the show tonight. And if I don't see that happen, failure. It's already a fucking failure with these guys. It's already a fucking failure with Retribution. If you do not give me that situation, complete and utter fucking failure, you might as well take them all off TV. Every single one of them. We're going to go over it on the podcast here tonight. Thank you guys so very much for joining me here on YouTube. We have 1,300 live viewers in the chat. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Couldn't wait to get live tonight and talk about this. It's going to be a good one. Grab your beverages. It's going to be a good one, man. Someone in the chat mentioned the Guy Fieri Funko Pop. I do own it. Of course I would own it. It's Guy Fieri. Why wouldn't I own it? I told you guys, man, I will meet him and I will get him to do an intro for the podcast. Believe me. But I do have that Funko Pop, so I seen that in the chat before I actually went live for Off the Script this evening. So that's cool. But it was a busy weekend, man. We got a lot accomplished off the script. 342. We got the Andrew Yang and Chris Van Vliet interview. We dissected what he said on that podcast. And more policies coming out of WWE, more firings and more terminations in WWE. That was the big story on episode 342. If you guys missed that on the channel this weekend, go and check it out. It is live on the channel right now, along with everything else that you might have missed last week, man. So go and check that out. SmackDown, NXT, AEW. I'm hoping to have Jesse back on the show on Wednesday night. And anything else that you might have missed, everything you need is linked down below. There will be extras tonight. I do have some extras lined up for you this week, so make sure you guys keep an eye and an ear out for that one. I would really appreciate that. Some good stuff coming up, as always. So check the description. Everything you guys need is right there. Hit that subscribe button. The best way to support the show, man, is hitting the subscribe button down below. If you guys want to join the channel, you guys can certainly do that as well. It's always very helpful if you do that. But hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications, and make sure you are a part of JD's Elite right here on Off the Script. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JD from NY206. Twitter and Instagram is the place to be, man. Twitter, mostly I'm on Twitter, but Instagram, not so much. But I would appreciate a follow on both. Thank you guys for that. If you want to support the podcast, you guys can certainly do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Never an obligation. It is always there. If you guys want to show some extra support, you guys can certainly go out and buy a t-shirt if you'd like. That is bonfire.com, the exclusive home of JD's Off the Script shop, We got IWC Savior, the new JD's NEGAN shirt, exclusively on Bonfire, doing God's work, and all the other designs there on the shop, bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Off the Script. If you guys want to go and get your masks as well, mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your new black masks in stock. I would really appreciate that as well. And the podcast is brought to you today by Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice, man. Great way to support the show. And you get something for free just for listening to me shit on Monday Night Raw, man. That sounds like a good deal to me. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related. audibletrial.com/offthescript. So I want to thank them for being my first ever sponsor of the podcast. I got some great new sponsors lined up for the holiday season, man. You're going to love it. Can't wait to get them on board with OTS. Let me get you guys on board with what happened on Monday Night Raw, man. Let's start at the top here. We got Monday Night Raw opening with Michael Cole filling in for a second week in a row for Tom Phillips. Samoa Joe was not there at all either. Now, this is very interesting to me with the Samoa Joe situation. Now, I will talk about this on an Off the Script Extra, I believe, tomorrow, if I get around to recording one. But there was a tweet that went out by WrestleVotes, and I don't have it queued up. I don't have it queued up right now in my OBS, otherwise I'd show you. I'm going to save it for the Off the Script Extra. But what it said is that there is a certain WWE superstar who obviously he will keep anonymous. He will not mention their name. That told him that he is done with the WWE after his current contract expires. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know who that could possibly be. I mean, for all we know, it could be legitimately anybody on the Monday Night Raw roster. It could be anybody on the WWE roster in general. Every one of those guys that is being booked like shit could possibly want their way out of WWE. It could be Ricochet, for all we know. He's had it up to here. He's done with WWE's bullshit. They will not push him. They will not utilize him to the best of his ability. He could obviously be one of those guys that wants out. What about Ali? What about Ali? The guy rants on Twitter every single week that he's on Main Event. WWE brought him to Monday Night Raw from SmackDown to give him 2 matches, a win in a triple threat, not a triple threat, a 6-man tag against the Hurt Business, and then he got squashed in 11 minutes. Legitimately, it was an 11-minute squash by Bobby Lashley. And that's the last we've seen of Mustafa Ali. He could certainly be the one to ask for his release or say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not coming back to the WWE. It could be Samoa Joe. Could be Samoa Joe. A lot of people were talking on Twitter that Samoa Joe is the one that WrestleVotes mentioned in the tweet, but didn't really directly mention his name. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. So if it's Samoa Joe, man, my God, if he ends up in AEW, I swear to God, man, if I'm Tony Khan and I know Samoa Joe is a free agent, I'm throwing any type of money at Samoa Joe. Yes, he's a little injury prone, but that guy has a lot left in the tank. And I'm sure they'll find something for Samoa Joe to do. That would be an amazing pickup for AEW. So we'll see what happens there. Tom Phillips was replaced by Michael Cole for a second week in a row. Very suspicious. Last week they mentioned Tom Phillips had a day off. I guess he had another 2 weeks off. And what lines up with the 2 weeks, a.k.a. 14 days, COVID. So WWE might be dumbing this down because they will never reveal that Tom Phillips right now is in quarantine because he tested positive for COVID-19. So that's my guess on that one, and the reason why Michael Cole has been there for the last 2 weeks. Byron Saxton was still there, and Dolph Ziggler filled in on commentary. Not bad. He's no Chris Jericho, but he's not bad at all. He stayed for half of the show, and then he had to wander on into Raw Underground and get ready to get squashed over there by Braun Strowman later on in the evening, but he was there, and then MVP filled in for him for the remainder of the show. So that was the commentary situation. But I do think that Tom Phillips is out because of COVID-19. No question. Drew McIntyre walked out. He came out, and he was in street clothes, and he was going one-on-one with Keith Lee tonight in the main event. We've seen another video recap of the Drew Randy Orton Claymore kick and punt kick saga that they've done on Monday Night Raw. He said people keep asking him for a medical update. He said he will address it once and only once. He said WWE medics told him to take time off for a non-displaced fracture, but if he did it, he'd have to forfeit his title. So I will give WWE credit here because I was getting ready tonight, even before Monday Night Raw started. I was hoping that they made some sense of this situation. They made such a big deal about Drew McIntyre. Oh, you're not cleared. Oh, you're not cleared. Nobody's cleared you for in-ring competition. And then they want to go ahead and book him in a match with Keith Lee. They made such a big deal about it on last week's show. And then this week, they book him in a main event match, a big match with Keith Lee, pretty much ignoring all the dialogue that Drew McIntyre had last week. So I'm glad that they actually made some sense of it tonight. And management told him that, listen, you're going to have to be stripped of the championship. So that's that. So he got in the ring, and he has a non-displaced fracture. He said one bad strike to the jaw could displace the fracture, and then his jaw would have to be wired shut. They didn't really sell the fact of the jaw in the match tonight with Keith Lee. He was taking some pretty stiff bumps in there with Keith Lee. One wrong move, and his jaw would be wired shut. I guess all of that went out the window as soon as the bell rung with Keith Lee in the main event of Monday Night Raw. He said he'd rather leave in an ambulance at the Clash than give up his championship. He told Randy Orton to ask the nurse to turn up the volume so we can hear this next part on what he had to say. He said the next time they compete, someone should leave in an ambulance. Who didn't see that one coming? I think everybody kind of insinuated that this was going to be some sort of stipulation match at Clash of Champions in an ambulance match. And that's exactly what we are getting at here between Orton and McIntyre. He proposed they have an ambulance match. Ooh. Oh, man. An ambulance match at the Clash for the WWE title. He said once he was wearing leather pants and he couldn't kick high or his pants would split. And he says he's Scottish and they don't like underpants. So it would have been an international incident. He said he developed the new kick as a result. He said, let's throw this Photoshop up there. And it was all the victims of his Claymore kick. So he did the same mind games that Randy Orton did. Randy Orton showed this cartoonish-like image on the Titantron of everybody that he punt kicked. And then Drew McIntyre did the same thing about everybody he Claymored on Monday Night Raw. So it is what it is, man. It's Claymore versus punt kick. Who's going to get the final blow? And then the Raw GM, the unofficial Raw GM, because that's exactly what he fucking is at this point. He's got more TV time than fucking Ricochet and Mustafa Ali combined. Adam Pearce. The unofficial Raw GM, Adam Pearce, he walked out and interrupted. He said Orton probably can't be there tonight. He might not be ready for the Clash. He said his match against Keith Lee is now about bragging rights. He said if Lee beats him tonight and Orton can't make it to the Clash, then Lee faces him for the WWE title. Oh, Randy Orton's going to make the Clash, bro. Randy Orton is going to make the Clash. Don't you worry. Drew McIntyre asked, who put you in charge anyway? I guess he put himself in charge. So then Keith Lee and his music came out, his terrible theme music. Keith Lee mentioned on Twitter he was poking fun at fans who genuinely care about his progress on the main roster. Keith Lee quote tweeted a fan and said that the fan was mad. You're mad at the fact of the matter of my theme music. And he insinuated that he didn't really give a shit about the theme music. In fact, he is actually starting to like it. Bullshit. Keith Lee says the new theme is growing on him, and I quite like it, he says on social media. So then obviously I took it into my own hands, and I tweeted Keith Lee, and I'm like, bro, don't bullshit anybody. We all know that you are just as mad about the theme music than the fucking fans are. So is Keith Lee becoming a ball tickler on Monday Night Raw? Is Keith Lee becoming a corporate shill on Monday Night Raw? They all do. They all do. You can't say anything negative to these fucking people. Otherwise, they will throw you under the bus. Keith Lee has been a creative failure on the main roster. I'm not going to say he's buried because he's not. He got a win over Randy Orton on pay-per-view, and he was in the ring with the WWE Champion tonight in the main event. That is not buried, folks. I know when someone is buried. Keith Lee is not buried. But has he been part of a creative team that has fucking let him down? Abso-fucking-lutely. This guy is like a fucking chameleon. Every week he's changed. New theme, new look. He's went through fucking 4 wardrobe attires in 4 weeks. I don't know whether he's fucking getting promo lessons from the people in the back. His promos sound different than what they were in NXT. I had no problem with what he sounded like in NXT. I don't know what they're doing with Keith Lee. I don't see the need to change. I don't see the need to really break things down from NXT and then build them back up in Vince McMahon's image. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. It just gives off a bad vibe on Monday nights. And Keith Lee is not benefiting from it at all. The guy's been in the ring with Randy Orton 4 fucking times already. He's had 3 fucking losses by DQ, I believe. A no contest. I mean, this is what you had planned for Keith Lee? Sounds like to me, it looks like to me that you had no fucking plans for Keith Lee. At all. And we talked about his original plans on the podcast this weekend. WWE wanted to feud him with Bobby Lashley over the United States Championship. Why didn't that happen? Now you put him in a WWE title situation. We all know he's not winning the WWE title immediately. That would be fucking ridiculous. So why are you starting him at the top and then going to bring him back down? Now, by what we've seen in the main event, he's either going to be added to the triple threat match or he's going to be feuding with Retribution, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. But Keith Lee walked out and they shook hands. Drew says he's been looking forward to this. He tried to walk away, but Keith Lee did not let go of the handshake. Lee tried to walk away, but Drew did not let go of the handshake. Typical babyface situation here. So then they cut to the break, and that was it. We only seen a handshake between Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre. We go to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. They're not in the ring. They've disappeared. Now, when this match was made, I'm over here talking to myself. It doesn't make any sense. Now, Randy Orton was always a factor, but Randy Orton took a beating by Drew McIntyre last week, and he didn't even show up on the show. Good. WWE advertised Sasha Banks on Fox NFL Sunday last night 4 different times. They announced Sasha Banks for SmackDown on Friday tonight on Monday Night Raw. If Sasha Banks is not via satellite, if Sasha Banks doesn't show up with a fucking crutch or a neck brace or some sort of fucking legitimate injury, selling the injury, knowing that woman, she will. I doubt Sasha Banks is going to show up on Friday night without some sort of prop to sell the injury. But you're already doing her and the feud a huge disservice by bringing her back literally 2 weeks after the attack by Bayley. That is something that should keep you out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, up to a couple of months. And they're bringing her back in 2 weeks. Randy Orton didn't show up tonight because he sold the injuries from Drew McIntyre. If Sasha Banks doesn't do the same thing on Friday night, I am going to be pissed. So when this match was made, Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre, there was only one logical outcome. Nobody wins. Fuck finish, no contest. I'm thinking maybe Retribution gets involved. Just like they do every fucking time they want to cause chaos on Monday night. There's a good spot for them. Maybe Randy Orton. But then again, you got the injury situation with Randy Orton. It shouldn't be Randy Orton, and I'm glad they didn't go with Randy Orton. Keith Lee couldn't lose. You can't beat Keith Lee. What good would that do him in his first month and a half on the main roster? Drew McIntyre has a WWE title match at the pay-per-view. You can't have your WWE champion losing clean on Monday Night Raw now. So nobody logically would have made sense to win this match. I don't even know why they booked the fucking match. But they needed a big rating. Or a desperate attempt at a rating that we know is not going to be a big rating because NFL. That's what should have been done. Don't book the match. If you don't have a logical winner for the match, then don't book the fucking match. Very simple. But WWE doesn't do things in a simple way. They always try to convolute things. They always try to make things a little bit more confusing. They always go with the illogical route. So we all knew going into this match, neither one of these guys could lose. Which way were they going to go as far as the no contest? We'll talk about it when we talk about the main event. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. This went 10 minutes, and the Street Profits win clean. Let me repeat myself as I take a sip of my cold beverage. The Street Profits win clean over Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, the match was fine. The match was very good for what it was for 10 minutes. I would have liked to see a little bit more time given to these two teams, being that they're both tag team champions on Raw and SmackDown. But what did this exactly accomplish? This accomplished absolutely nothing. Now, I don't advocate for fuck finishes. I don't. In fact, I hate them. But if WWE was doing this match for ratings, which, I mean, let's be honest, what is this match going to do for ratings? Nobody gives a shit. The Street Profits this was like the Street Profits wrestling Andrade and Angel Garza again. It made no difference who was in the ring in this match. This accomplished nothing. Why would you bring the SmackDown Tag Team Champions over to Monday Night Raw to lose to the Raw Tag Team Champions? Why? I don't get it. It does not make sense creatively. So we got Cesaro and Nakamura losing to the Lucha House Party on Friday, and then they come back on Monday night and lose to the Street Profits. I don't know why you're having the Tag Team Champions of SmackDown lose clean. If there was one outcome for this match, it would have been a fuck finish. That would have taken them to the pay-per-view, and you could have had a unification match at Clash of Champions between these two teams. Because I don't know who in WWE is looking at their fucking tag team division and is happy with what's going on. I sound like a goddamn broken record. How could you look at the Monday Night Raw tag team situation now that Ivar needs neck surgery? I don't know who looks at this Monday Night Raw situation and thinks, man, we got a great tag team division over there. Look at Cesaro and Nakamura, man. What a great tag team division we got on SmackDown. We got Heavy Machinery. Nobody takes them seriously. Miz and Morrison are nothing more than a fucking circus. The New Day isn't exactly the New Day right now. The Usos aren't at full strength, being that Jimmy is home hurt. The Lucha House Party, I mean, the only party they're seeing is in fucking catering, and have been for the last 7 years. I don't know why anybody would take them seriously, or why you would expect me or anybody else to take them fucking seriously. Forgotten Sons, it's in their name. Haven't been on TV since Jackson Riker acted like a fucking idiot on social media. There is no division. Why do we need 2 sets of tag team championships? Why? Does nobody know that I've been saying this for 4 years now? Does nobody realize that I've been the only motherfucker in this community that's been advocating for floating championships? For merging of the divisions. What other fucking podcast out there that's been in the community has been expressing this for 4 years? I said it on night 1 of the 2016 draft. And I have not let go of that idea since. Why? Because it's the only thing that makes sense. The tag team division then fucking sucked. It's worse now. It's worse now. How it got worse from 4 years ago, I don't know. But all I know is we don't need 2 sets of tag team champions. Merge the fucking divisions. That was the only thing that you could have done. And you didn't. And now we're right back to square one. Street Profits beat the tag team champions on SmackDown clean. Now they go back to SmackDown and lose the tag team titles to the Lucha House Party just so that WWE can prove me wrong. And they could book the Profits versus the Lucha House Party at Survivor Series. Champions versus champion. I want to see them shill me. Oh, Monday Night Raw versus SmackDown for the Survivor Series. It happens only 1 time a year. Really? On September 14th, 2020, I seen that happen on Monday Night Raw between the tag team champions. So please spare me the 1 time a year Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head at the Survivor Series. You already gave the Survivor Series away tonight. And you don't need 2 tag team championships. Now, who do the Profits have on Monday night? I wouldn't be surprised if WWE inserts the Hurt Business into the tag team title situation. Because they have nobody. They have nobody. And like I said, I would be shocked if Cesaro and Nakamura leave September as the tag team champions on SmackDown. Just by the way that they've been booked, you can see where Vince McMahon's going with them. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Profits win. There was a great spot with Cesaro throwing Montez Ford in the air and giving him a European uppercut, man. My God, they showed it in slow motion. It looked fucking devastating. Love it. So Dawkins blind tagged in. He caught Cesaro with a cash out splash for the 3 count. And that was the way it ended for the team of Cesaro and Nakamura. You got a commercial in between. It went 10 minutes. If you're going to shill me a champion versus champion match on Monday Night Raw, maybe you should give it a little bit more time. But the fact that it got 10 minutes, and in reality it was really 6 minutes on Monday night thanks to the fucking commercial, that's exactly what WWE thinks of the tag team titles and the tag team division. Complete and utter waste of time. You had one thing to do, and you didn't do it, and now you're right back to where the tag team titles have always been. Irrelevant. You could have at least showed me you cared. You could have at least made progress on fixing the current issue right now in the tag team division, but you motherfuckers don't listen to me. I have been preaching this for years. It is a very simple thing to do. All you need to do is do that with the tag team titles and do the same thing with the women's titles, and that is it. These shows would be better off for it. Tag team wrestling has a place in WWE on Monday and on Friday. I don't know why they are not embracing it, and please do not tell me because it doesn't make money. Give me a fucking break. WWE's not making money off of anybody. They're making money off of USA, and they're making money off of Fox. It doesn't draw. Monday Night Raw is not drawing. Just do the right fucking thing. Moving on. Lana. Lana was being hit on by Angel Garza. Guy has a beautiful wife at home, and he's just fucking throwing his dick out there to every woman in the back. Nobody blinks an eye. Nobody. So Lana was being hit on by Angel Garza backstage. And Lana was complaining to Garza that Mickie got a title shot instead of Natalya. Really? That's what we're complaining about? Garza agreed how unfair it was. He said her passion for justice is intoxicating. Zelina Vega then walked up to him and accused him of flirting with Lana instead of focusing on them after he abandoned Andrade twice. He says he's tired of being blamed for every setback with the team. He said Andrade got pinned last week, not me. Andrade stepped up and asked who he is to talk to him like that. Zelina Vega was angry, yelled, enough, I can't do this anymore. She ran off, and Andrade and Garza got into a brawl, and then they cut to a break. So are we finally starting to see these two guys head to Splitsville, please? I would rather be in Flavortown, but I gotta watch this Splitsville shit with Andrade and Angel Garza. Can we just get these two in a match already? And at that point, when that match comes, who is going to be the one that is the babyface? WWE has done an absolutely horrendous job at getting me to care about either one of these guys in a babyface role. They're two heels that WWE doesn't give a shit about. The fans don't give a shit about. And Garza is one of the best fucking talents that they have on this brand. And you somehow have ruined him on this show. Andrade, don't get me started. They didn't see anything in Andrade from the get-go. The man is absolutely lucky that Charlotte Flair is going to be his wife. Otherwise, this guy would be on the outs completely. Andrade is just a failure creatively. And it's not even his fault. It's not even his fault. This guy, in my honest opinion, one of the best wrestlers in the world. He has one of my favorite matches ever at TakeOver Philadelphia with Johnny Gargano. I mean, what the fuck have they done with both of these guys? And now we're at a point where they're both getting ready to feud and nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. This is not the Legion of Doom or Demolition or fucking Heart Foundation breaking up. It's Andrade and Garza. And nobody gives a fuck. Unreal. MVP, Cedric Alexander, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. They walked out. And they were in the ring cutting a promo. You want to know what I asked last week? Why did they fit 2 weeks worth of television into the one episode of Monday Night Raw last week? They gave the Hurt Business 3 different segments. Cedric turned heel, and then they had him address everybody in that same night on a VIP lounge with MVP. Why couldn't Cedric Alexander save the speech for tonight and drag this out a little bit? I don't understand it. WWE proving me to be right once again. They're creatively bankrupt, but they got to write 3 hours of television. And clearly they showed you that they cannot write 3 hours of television. So MVP said business is booming with the Hurt Business. He said Shelton has been upgraded from gold to platinum. He said Cedric is officially a member of the Hurt Business because his tax forms have been filed. He said life is good. Cedric said last week his social media blew up. I wish creative in Stanford would blow the fuck up. His social media blew up. He imitated all those people whining about his decision to turn on his friends. He said this is his job, and he has to do what it takes to succeed. He said none of them out there know what it's like to be him. He said he kept getting beaten up and broken down. He felt empty and terrible when he went home to be with his family. So Cedric says, I don't know. We don't know how it feels to be him. Bro, listen, you felt empty and terrible when you went home to be with your family. We feel empty and terrible every Monday and Friday watching Bruce and Vince McMahon write these shows. We know better than anybody how you feel, man. Believe me, we know better than most. Apollo Crews and Ricochet walked out. Crews told Cedric that they treated him like a brother, but he is weak-minded and allowed himself to be manipulated by MVP. Just like how these fans, these casuals, these geeks on social media allow themselves to be manipulated by WWE. He said he has to live with the consequences now. Cedric asked how many times he took a beating for them. Shelton told Cedric that they are jealous and he doesn't owe them an explanation. Ricochet then takes the microphone. Uh-oh. Ricochet's on the microphone. I would rather you not. He didn't really do too bad here, but it felt very forced. Ricochet said that they didn't come out here to beg him to come back. You should be begging Vince McMahon to give you fucking pants again and make you the one and only. King Ricochet. What happened to that guy? You should be begging Vince McMahon to give me the Ricochet we seen against Johnny Gargano or the Ricochet we seen against Adam Cole. What happened to that Ricochet? That's what I want you to start begging for. I don't know who the fuck this is. So he said they came out here to tell him that if he thought it was bad when the Hurt Business was attacking him, wait until they get their hands on him. Ooh. Ricochet aiming threats at the Hurt Business. It's a 2-on-4 situation, folks. Who are you going to take in this situation? Ricochet entered the ring. Didn't I book this match last week? Didn't I mention something about why don't you do Cedric versus Ricochet? Seems like WWE or some fucking geek was listening to the show last week because coincidentally, come the following week, we're seeing the match. My PayPal is in my fucking Twitter. So we got a match between Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Apollo was in Ricochet's corner. Cedric had the Hurt Business in his corner. This match was good. Nothing special to it. It went 5 minutes. I don't know how good it could be in 5 fucking minutes. Cedric Alexander landed a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. And then, my God, man, he delivered one of the best lumbar checks I've ever seen from Cedric Alexander on Ricochet. And Ricochet, man, I got to give him credit. He knows how to sell his shit. That was brutal. I'm like, that's got to be it. He can't kick out of that. And he did. Devastating lumbar check for a 3 count. And Cedric wins in 5 minutes. The lights went out. Cedric was about to celebrate with the Hurt Business, and we see the Retribution logo all over the Thunderdome in the Amway Center. And we see 5 Retribution members on the big screen again. And we see Dominik Dijakovic, the big one. He says that they are a product of empty promises. Really? We are a product of empty promises, man. You got that one right. Greed and betrayal. He said they once trusted, but now they move forward with their eyes wide open. And then we get another guy, another one of the male Retribution members. He said that they won't show loyalty to an entity that casts people aside like empty garbage. He said, when you sell your soul to a corrupt machine, you become corrupt. He said, they felt their time at the Performance Center would lead to fame and wealth, but they refused to suck up to an entitled regime. So just by that line, you know that they're all disgruntled NXT or Performance Center talent. So that's who Retribution is. They pretty much confirmed that in the promo tonight. And then he yelled, "We are Retribution." The lights came back on and the Hurt Business was standing in the ring. And they were ready to fight, but Retribution did not come out. I thought this was the same promo from last week. It's all empty words. It's all empty threats. I don't know who the fuck is writing the promo material for Retribution, man. It honestly sounds like a bad Broadway play, and I'm watching the villains take the fucking stage and recite Act 7 of a play. I mean, who talks like that? Who talks like that? Yes, I get it. You're angry. I get it. Stop using big words. Stop trying to sound cool and disguise your fucking voice. Tell me why you're fucking here. Tell me who the fuck you are and what you fucking want. I don't give a fuck about all these other fucking words and this and that. And you making it sound cool and disguising your fucking voice. Great. Now tell me what you want. That's it. I've had enough of this shit. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody's losing interest. It's dragged on for far too long. They keep changing the fucking members every goddamn week. This week there was like fucking 10 of them, 20 of them. And I think WWE's trying to hide the fact that we all know who the fuck they are now. And now they're just adding members just because. They're trying to get one over on the fans. Oh, you think you know who they are, but now you don't because we've added 15 more fucking people to Retribution. What a dumb fucking angle. What a dumb promo. Who talks and writes like that? I don't understand how that comes off as intimidating. I'm listening to this shit, and if I'm any of the fucking main roster guys, I'm laughing. It's like fucking Comedy Hour when Retribution comes out. Unreal. I hope we get some sort of payoff here. Man, the WWE better hope that the fucking payoff for this shit is right. Because if not, my God, man, we are looking at one of the biggest failures of the decade in WWE with Retribution. And I am pretty damn high on Dominik Dijakovic. So they better have something in mind for whatever he's leading here. Moving on, man. We got Hurt Business talking to Adam Pearce. He was yelling at security about Retribution. How could you? How could you? You guys need to be attentive. MVP walked up to him. And he was with all the other Hurt Business members. MVP said he understands that if Pearce can't control this Retribution situation, he will be out of a job. Pearce said that's not his business. MVP said the locker room is scared, but they don't run scared. Let us help you keep your job. Pearce said, thank you for volunteering, but I'll be okay. Hurt Business laughed. MVP said that they are a business. They don't do charity work, but they will be sending him a bill when they get done with Retribution. So that was that. Let's check the chat here, guys. Thank you for joining me here on Monday night for Off the Script. Monday Night Raw review live for September 14th, now the 15th, 2020. Hoot Media. My analyst, Hoot Media. Are we number one? Hoot Media. More than likely we are. I'm pretty positive we're number one in the community right now. You are number one, man. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Thank you guys for making Off the Script the number one show in the IWC for your Monday night. Super chats are open. They will be open all night. We'll go over them at the end of the show, man. We got 551 likes. Let's get that thumbs up button, man. Nothing less than 1,000 likes before we end the live stream tonight. That is what we do on Monday night here on Off the Script. Asuka versus Mickie James for the Raw Women's Championship. Michael Cole, before the match actually took place, he mentioned something about there's no cardboard cutouts here. Thousands, not hundreds, of interactive WWE fans from around the world are live with us in the Thunderdome. Yes, thank you, Michael Cole, for reiterating that there's no cardboard cutouts here. There might as well be. What about that fucking soundtrack you got playing that is absolutely obnoxious throughout 3 hours of Monday Night Raw? Maybe I got some fucking geeks cheering on the screen, right? I'd rather watch the fucking cardboard cutouts. How does NBA and the NFL and the MLB get it right, but you guys can't get it right with the sound? I don't really understand it. The WWE shows sound ridiculous in comparison to all other major sports. That's just my take. That's just my take. Asuka versus Mickie James, man. Listen. I'm a fan of Mickie James. I am. I'm not a fan of how WWE has portrayed her in this situation. And I figured that this would be leading to a match at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Mickie James is 41 years old, I believe. She has a lot left if she wanted to wrestle. WWE's not going to push her in a priority role because of her age. She is up there. She does move a little slow for 41. She's not as nimble, and she's not as quick, and she's not as good as she once was. But she's still a good veteran hand on the main roster. WWE hasn't done Mickie James any favors whatsoever. They brought her back, and they immediately made her feel like she was an unimportant factor in the women's division. And I don't really understand why you would bring her back and then completely waste her away and just give off that vibe after she was gone for like a year and a half, 2 years. Why would you do that? Knowing that you need women on this show that could go in there and compete. It's amazing to me. And Asuka. I've mentioned this and I ranted about this several times already. How shitty is it for Asuka that WWE doesn't have any legitimate competition for her lined up after she took the title from Sasha Banks? Should have been Shayna Baszler, but WWE opted to put Shayna Baszler in a makeshift tag team, not a real tag team, with Nia Jax, and give Shayna and Nia the women's tag team championships. So Asuka, just by process of elimination, Sasha Banks got to go back to SmackDown because she was never a Monday Night Raw superstar. Shayna Baszler now being in a tag team with Nia Jax and being a tag team champion. By process of elimination, Asuka has no competition. Mickie James was the only one. Could have been Ruby Riott. I look at Ruby Riott as championship material, but WWE hasn't done Ruby Riott any favors either. She got back from injury and she lost her first 12 matches. Liv Morgan is absolutely in no way a title contender. She's done nothing. Lana? Natalya? You want to see Natalya versus Asuka? I mean, they are as dead can be. It's not really what I think about when I think of excitement in the women's division. Now, Ruby Riott could have been somebody, like I said, but WWE hasn't done her any favors. So now we are stuck with Mickie James. And before you guys start mentioning Bianca Belair, why would you put Bianca Belair in an Asuka situation right now and give her a quick title match when she probably will not win the title yet? That is something that you save. That is something that you build towards. That is somebody that you start grooming as your next women's champion. But Bianca Belair should be on fucking TV getting wins. I don't know why this woman is not on fucking TV. Why? Where has she gone? And should we start putting her picture on milk cartons? Is what I want to know. So before anybody starts mentioning Bianca Belair, no, she doesn't deserve a title match. No, it's not the right time at all to put her in an Asuka situation at Clash of Champions. What WWE should have done is either A, keep Asuka off of fucking TV until you find legitimate competition, or B, do a better job at building Mickie James up and give me a second match with Asuka and Mickie James, just like they did at TakeOver in Toronto when Mickie James made her first appearance back in the WWE. That's what should have been done. But WWE failed to do that. So they made Asuka into a champion on Monday Night Raw with no legitimate competition, and Mickie James into a challenger who comes off as if she doesn't deserve a fucking thing as far as the women's championship goes. So please excuse me for my lack of enthusiasm when it comes to the women's division. It's fucking terrible. I'm going to say the same thing about I said with the tag team titles with Street Profits, Cesaro, and Nakamura. Merge the fucking divisions. If there was more competition in the women's division across the board, then maybe we would have found competition for Asuka. I don't understand that. It's fucking ridiculous how we have Asuka win the title in such a great way from Sasha Banks, and then she goes right back to doing nothing with the title. That's your fault. That's your fault. This match with Mickie James went 12 minutes, and it was fucking horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Even more horrendous is what they got lined up for Asuka, which I assume is going to be at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. And I don't really understand why WWE is going with that competitor for the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. It's like they did things backwards. Now, we got Mickie James in this match. And let me tell you something, man. Her kicks are absolutely fucking terrible. I don't know what happened to Mickie James and her kicks tonight. I don't know what happened to Mickie James in her offense. I don't know if it's ring rust. I don't know if it's the fact that she was nervous to be in the ring in a championship situation. WWE's building her up. Oh, she's a 6-time women's champion. She's a legend. You've done nothing to treat her like that at all. Stop shilling Mickie James to me when you haven't done your part to build her up. I don't know what it was with Mickie James tonight. Her offense was terrible. Every single kick that Mickie James delivered tonight, it's as if she didn't want to kick Asuka. It was either missing, it was either weak. I don't know what she was doing. It was like she was flailing and trying to hit a fucking a prop dummy instead of actually kicking somebody in the fucking face. It's a championship match. It's a championship match. Why isn't she going balls to the wall being Mickie James? You're in there with one of the stiffest women in the entire WWE. Fucking wrestle! I don't know what the fuck you call that tonight. Her offense was terrible. Mickie hit Asuka with a spinning hook kick several times. It looked awful. One of them got a 2 count. So Asuka then applied the Asuka lock at the end of this thing. All of a sudden, Mickie James starts to try and get out of the Asuka lock. She got Asuka in what looked to be a pinning situation. Asuka was in a pinning situation with Mickie James. Asuka's shoulders were legitimately pinned on the mat. Referee didn't even bother to count. But Mickie James was trying to get out of the Asuka lock. And from my vantage point, it looked like Mickie James pounded an open fist or an open palm on the mat twice. And it looked to be Mickie James trying to get out of the hold and give herself some force. She was trying to position herself to get out of the Asuka lock. But the referee called for the bell. And then Mickie James was then placed in the Asuka lock legitimately, but the bell had already sounded. And when the bell had already sounded, the referee was standing above both Mickie James and Asuka, and Mickie James was looking up at the referee as if, I never tapped out. Her face, what she had written all over her face with her facial expression was, I don't believe you called the match at that point. As if she didn't really expect the match to be over then. It was a fucking mess. An absolute mess. She rolled out of the ring. Asuka wins the championship match. She retains the championship. And that's it. An awful match with Mickie James. That should have been on the pay-per-view. You should have done a better job at building Asuka's opponent. And you did. And you gave away a pay-per-view title match. The only pay-per-view title match that you have in the women's division on Monday Night Raw right now, legitimately away on pay-per-view because NFL. And you thought somehow, some way this was going to make the show better. But in fact, what you did was take a match away from Sunday's pay-per-view, not this Sunday, the 27th or whatever the fuck it is, right? From the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, and that's it. Awful, awful, awful. Zelina Vega marched to the ring, and she said she's been thinking about her future. She said she's wasted some of the best years of her career managing those two ingrates, Garza and Andrade. She said Asuka is so focused on the superstars of yesterday, she's forgotten about one of the best superstars of today. Vega then said she's ready for Asuka. Asuka took the mic and yapped at her in Japanese. And then Vega, just like a typical New Yorker, slapped Asuka in the face. And that set Asuka off. Now, I don't know what happened with the Mickie James situation. You guys want my honest opinion on it, and I didn't even look in the chat yet, but what I think happened here is Vince McMahon was in Gorilla. He realized this match was just as awful as I told you guys it was, and he told the referee to end the match quick, find something to end the match. He called for the fucking ref to end the match because it was so goddamn terrible. Was it a situation of Vince McMahon calling for the bell because the match was so awful? I would bet my bottom dollar that was the case. I'm going with that as being the excuse. Because all I know is, and people think that Mickie James tapped, Mickie James did not tap on Monday night. And Zelina Vega has not won a wrestling match all year. The last time she was in the ring, she was getting squashed by Bianca Belair. But I'm supposed to believe that Zelina Vega now is in line next for a women's championship match. I think Zelina Vega is in the right role that she could play. She is an advocate, and she needs a client. She's a manager. She needs to find somebody else to manage. She does not need to be in the ring. Nobody on this planet or in any other fucking solar system, on any other fucking planet, is anybody going to believe that Zelina Vega is going to take Asuka one-on-one and legitimately stand the chance? What is the fucking point of booking a match like that when nobody knows? Everybody knows what the outcome is. I don't really understand the fucking situation here. It's like you did things backwards. If this is what you wanted for the pay-per-view, why wasn't this on the show tonight? Why wasn't this the title match tonight? And why didn't you save Mickie James for the pay-per-view? That's the only logical way for me to think about it. Now, I wouldn't give Zelina Vega any fucking title match. I wouldn't even have her spell the word title out. But I don't know why we're sitting here talking about Zelina Vega in a title match against Asuka. Nobody believes, and she hasn't won a fucking match. Are we giving away championship matches for free now? Is that what the women's division has come to? Zelina Vega? I don't know who is excited about that or happy about that or thinks that is logical or the right creative decision. Absolute fucking garbage is the Monday Night Raw women's division. A complete dumpster fire. You would think after Sasha and Bayley, it would have been left in better hands. Or left to look a little better than it does now. How is it worse? How is it worse after everything Bayley and Sasha Banks did? How? Negligence and WWE being creatively bankrupt. It's my favorite word. I've been using it for fucking months now. Creatively bankrupt is WWE creative. They don't give a fuck about women's wrestling. They don't. All you need to do is look at their title match potentially at Clash of Champions. Vega versus Asuka. Is WWE giving a fuck about women's wrestling? I don't think so, folks. Wisen up. See the sunshine. Stop fucking watching this show with your fucking rose-colored glasses on. Please. Women's division is fucking terrible on both shows. And something needs to be done. Sasha and Bayley cannot legitimately be the only things that we give a shit about on these shows. Asuka needs better. And get Bianca Belair on fucking TV. Otherwise, why did you call her up? Charlie Caruso interviewed Keith Lee backstage. He talked about how Drew will do whatever it takes to win, but so will he. Caruso asked if he'll take advantage of Drew's jaw injury. Lee says he won't take advantage of an injury, but I'll do what I must. Oh, well, what a fellow good Samaritan Keith Lee is in regards to Drew McIntyre. You're in the WWE in a ring on Monday night against the WWE champion, and you're not going to take advantage of an injury? Bro, seriously. I don't give a fuck how good of a human being you are. You take advantage of a fucking injury. Cut the shit. It's one thing to be humble. It's another thing to be fucking stupid. Eric from the Viking Raiders, because that's his name now. If I just said Eric, who the fuck is Eric? Anybody could be Eric. Eric from the Viking Raiders versus Bobby Lashley. You know, because Ivar is injured. Ivar needs neck surgery. So, WWE is unsure of Ivar's recovery time. This is the news this week. He took a dive to the outside. He's done that plenty of times, but listen, man, the more these dives happen, the more people are going to get hurt. Seriously, you know, it's one thing for Ricochet or Ali to do a dive. It's another thing when Ivar or fucking Keith Lee or Big E does a dive. Number one, it takes away from these guys doing the dive. The smaller guys, it's kind of greedy. It's kind of selfish. And number two, there's a lot of weight coming down when a guy like Big E or Ivar does a dive. You're risking potential injury. Now, with WWE Creative last week, if they didn't fucking book that match that didn't need to be booked last week, we may be sitting here talking about Ivar being on the show and not going in for fucking neck surgery. But you knew it was going to happen. The more you do it, it is going to happen. And I'm telling you right now, I'll swear on my grandfather's fucking grave, Big E is going to end up in the same fucking place as Ivar if he continues doing the dives. It will happen. I guarantee you. And I want you to mark this video down, and when it does, I want you all to tweet, #JD was right again. It's going to happen. Enough with the fucking dives, okay? I would rather Ivar be on Monday Night Raw because the tag team division needs the Viking Raiders, and now Eric is all by himself. Everybody's like, oh, poor Ivar, poor Ivar. What about poor Eric? Now he's a fucking jobber. Oh, but JD's got TV time. He's a fucking jobber. His career is halted just like Ivar's is. They work as one. They work as one. Now Eric is by himself. WWE's going to push Eric? Give me a break. Send him home with the wife and take care of the fucking kid at home. That's not yet due yet. Lashley wins in 2 minutes. Lashley won with a full Nelson. Eric was on Raw Underground putting guys away with his fucking devastating knee strikes. And here in a wrestling match, he can't take on Bobby Lashley and win. Or at least give me an attempt at winning in 90 seconds. Good job on Raw Underground there, bro. Exposes Raw Underground greatly when you do what you did with Eric there and now in a ring with Bobby Lashley. I thought he was a fighter. I thought he was a legit fighter. He was taking care of those guys easily, but he can't give me any type of offense against Bobby Lashley. Give me a fucking break. He looked like a complete scrub. Sarah Schreiber interviewed Kevin Owens. Owens was asked if he knows why Aleister Black has developed a vendetta against him. I don't know. Aleister Black looking like fucking Solid Snake. Sons of Liberty over here. He said he doesn't know. And maybe he said something to upset him on the KO show. He said maybe his Hot Topic coupon wasn't honored when he tried to buy a t-shirt for that band he liked so much. Or maybe it was because hardly anyone knocked on his door. He said he doesn't care why, he cares how. He will walk away from the ring tonight feeling that they're even. Said he wants to be sure the beating he gives him reminds him every day from here on out of what happens when you pick a fight with Kevin Owens. Says he's not worried though because he is KO. Then KO walked away and Aleister Black walked into the camera frame. He was wearing fancy new black leather pants and he had a Solid Snake-like bandage over his fucking eyeball with some Illuminati fucking symbol or logo on it. So, remember when the news articles in the dirt sheets were claiming that Vince McMahon took Aleister Black off of TV because he felt like Aleister Black was missing something? I'm trying to understand this. If there's any WWE creative fucking cretin out there that's listening to me right now, what is it that Vince McMahon thought was missing from Aleister Black? Are we seeing that now happen on TV? You mean to tell me that Vince McMahon felt like Aleister Black was missing black leather pants? You mean to tell me that Aleister Black was missing a bandage over his right eye? That's what he was missing. Now he's missing his entrance. He's missing his identity. He's missing his coolness. He's missing what made him a badass in NXT. He's missing Triple H. He's missing an eyeball. He's missing his fucking trunks. He's missing his black mass. What is going on here? What is going on here? It is unbelievable to me how this guy has been ruined on Monday Night Raw. How do you fuck Aleister Black up? NXT got Black right. Every time Black came out, he was a must-see act. Every time Black comes out now on Monday Night Raw, I'm asking myself, why? Why? He looks ridiculous. And I swear on my fucking grandfather's tomb, I swear to God, something is happening in WWE with NXT and the main roster. There's a disconnect there. It's been happening for years. I don't understand why there is a need to change something from NXT when they get called up or demoted to the main roster. Why? Why? This guy should have been in contention for a world title already. He should have been an IC champion, a United States champion. This guy should be fucking competing for the King of the Ring. If there's a King of the Ring tournament this year, why is he so terrible? Unbelievable. They even make fun of him in this fucking promo. Maybe his Hot Topic coupon wasn't honored when he went to go buy a fucking $30 t-shirt. So Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. No hype. Wasn't announced on the show. How could you get anybody to fucking care about it if you didn't hype it up for the show? And why did you do it on Raw Underground? That's what I want to know. Wasn't the whole situation between Kevin Owens and Dabba-Kato? Yeah, but Dabba-Kato, Babatunde, Chokeslam, both of these guys on Raw Underground. Why? If there's no follow-up for Kevin Owens and Aleister Black against Babatunde, why did you do it last week? Why was this match, which we should have seen with some sort of build, happen in a wrestling ring? Why were these two guys on Raw Underground? It's unbelievable how this company operates. Raw Underground last week, no hype, no announcement this week. My God, man. When WWE wants you to think of something being, somewhat important, or, oh, this is cool, this is good, these two guys would have a good match. WWE wants you to think it's cool, they're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it. WWE has shown you already that these two guys are irrelevant on Monday night. There is no fucking way on my Monday Night Raw that Kevin Owens and Aleister Black would be in the position that they're in right now. These two guys would be legit main event guys. Remember when KO was the biggest babyface in the WWE? What happened to that Kevin Owens? It's unbelievable. Braun Strowman shows up on Raw Underground. Shane let him in. His doorman wanted to pick a fight with him. He told the big security guy, I don't even know what the fuck his name is. Get out of my way, he says. He's pissed off. He's pissed off. Looks like he just came from the fucking swamp. It looks like he was gutting fish. Braun Strowman. He's pissed off and he knows someone is on that other side of the door. And he knows that there's someone in that ring that he can bash their head in. He yelled for Shane to enter the Raw Underground, and Shane welcomed Braun Strowman to Raw Underground. Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins. Buddy Murphy was in the locker room. Seth Rollins was there with him. Seth invited him into the dressing room. Murphy seemed very down and melancholy, and he knew he was beaten down last week. Seth said atonement and forgiveness is a part of the process. He said they need to look into the future. He said tonight is an opportunity since he will be locked inside a cage with Dominik Mysterio, another gimmick match for the youngster Dominik, because WWE doesn't know any better. He's the Mysterio version of Braun Strowman. Everything's a fucking gimmick match. He said this is the perfect opportunity. The funny thing is, Dominik is a better wrestler than Braun Strowman, which I'm not surprised by. I'm probably a fucking better wrestler than Braun Strowman. Fucking clown. So he said this is the perfect opportunity to teach the young man and the world a lesson. He asked Buddy Murphy if he is prepared for his role tonight because he has something very important he needs to do to him or for him. He said he needs him to be ready. Murphy then nodded. He's like, yes, yes. Seth says he's happy to hear that and then slapped Murphy across the face and took him by the throat and shoved him into the lockers. He was mad. Seth told Murphy his assignment is to stay in the back and stay out of my way and not mess up this match with your stupid mistakes again. He asked if he understands him, and then Murphy said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Seth patted him on the chest. Good. R-Truth. He was selling Kit Kat bars. In walked Mandy Rose. She broke a Kit Kat bar apart and then grabbed another bar and walked away. Or was it Liv Morgan? Was it Mandy Rose or Liv Morgan? Who the fuck knows, man? You got R-Truth now selling Kit Kat bars. I guess that's Titus's new thing, man. Titus got Kit Kat bars and catering. He's getting ready for Halloween. I got news on R-Truth. Surprisingly, I got news on R-Truth. This was a very interesting news article. R-Truth's memorable Raw segment with Brock Lesnar was a rib by WWE officials. Now, the entire situation, it turns out, that it was a rib on Lesnar, as WWE officials had bet on whether Truth, who is very well liked by Vince McMahon, could make Brock Lesnar laugh. So Truth started off by meeting with Heyman 20 minutes before the segment and asked what he was supposed to say in the promo. And he had no promo. He had no promo. So R-Truth says this, and I quote, and Paul is like, well, we have a bet going on. We don't want Brock to know about it. And we don't want Brock to know what you're about to say. We want you to make Brock laugh. So R-Truth said, what? And Paul Heyman said, Truth, you're a funny guy. And we have a bet that you won't be able to make Brock laugh. I think you can, but they don't think you can. So just wing it. We're going to wing it out there. So R-Truth says, Paul, come on. The only thing you've got to say is you're going to throw him over the top rope. We're going to wing it out there. You're going to make Brock laugh. So R-Truth continued by stating that he wanted to tell Lesnar ahead of time because he didn't want to surprise Lesnar, I guess out of a sign of respect. But Heyman assured him that it was going to be great. So he recalled being in the ring and going on and on and on while making stuff up on the fly. When he noticed that Lesnar had a confusing look on his face, Truth knew that he had Lesnar where he wanted him. He says, and I quote, I did all I could to hold myself from laughing when I saw Brock bust out laughing because of Paul Heyman's facial expression. End quote. So it was all a rib. It wasn't even something that they had planned. They just sent R-Truth out there to make Brock Lesnar laugh with no fucking script. And I remember that very vividly. It was one of the more genuine things on Raw that night. And I even laughed. I can't stand the fucking R-Truth shit. I don't know how anybody finds it fucking funny with the 24/7 title and Tozawa and the fucking ninjas. It is just ungodly bad. I mean, get her off the fucking show. You would be better off melting that fucking title down to liquid and selling it on the black market. I mean, give me a fucking break. But R-Truth is a talented guy, man. He is genuinely funny. So I found that to be very, very interesting as far as what R-Truth and Lesnar did in that promo. It was all unplanned. It was all a rib. Can he get R-Truth to make Brock Lesnar laugh, Paul Heyman? He did. He did. I wonder what was up for grabs. I wonder what the wager was. That didn't really get stated in this interview. It wasn't discussed, but there you go. R-Truth made Brock Lesnar laugh, and it was not planned. Now, I mentioned Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose got traded from SmackDown to Raw. Why? I don't know. They could have certainly used her on Monday Night Raw tonight. I would have loved to see Mandy come out and challenge Asuka. At least it would have been. It wouldn't have made any sense, but it would have made for a better match than fucking Zelina Vega. WWE announced over the weekend that there was a trade between Friday Night SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. During Talking Smack, who I don't know who the fuck watches Talking Smack, WWE had The Miz reveal that Mandy Rose has been traded from SmackDown to Raw. As of late, WWE put Miz and John Morrison in a feud with Otis over the Money in the Bank briefcase. WWE noted that the move was the latest tactic in the Miz and Morrison ongoing quest to get Otis to give up his Money in the Bank contract after winning it back in May at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So in the WWE.com write-up, the company questioned, what will the move mean for Mandy and what effect will it have on her relationship with Otis? Now, Michael Cole mentioned that Mandy said in regards to her move to Monday Night Raw that she's going to make Monday Night Raw Mandy Night Raw. The trade doesn't make sense. Now, they didn't really make the trade known to anybody. We don't know if it's a future draft pick or an NXT talent. We don't know. Well, what does Monday Night Raw have on their roster that they could trade to SmackDown for Mandy Rose? Everybody's involved with something, unless you want to ship Lana over there, but that doesn't really make an even trade. Or Natalya over there, that doesn't really make an even trade, you know? So why did they do this trade? And what is WWE doing with the briefcase and Otis? What I think WWE is possibly contemplating here, and I would not be surprised if this happens. I mean, this is the most logical of situations. I would say Mandy Rose gets a match or two on Monday night, and Otis continues to try and fool and confuse Morrison and The Miz with the briefcase. But at the end of it all, Otis now realizes that Mandy got traded because the Miz called in a favor. And instead of actually going through with the chase, the cat and mouse chase for the briefcase, Otis is just going to give up the briefcase to Miz and Morrison in exchange for Mandy being back on SmackDown. Call in the favor and get Mandy back on SmackDown. I'll give you the briefcase. He's going to trade the Money in the Bank briefcase for Mandy Rose. Which makes me wonder why they even gave him the briefcase in the first place. Otis is a comedy wrestler. Why did you go and give Otis, a comedy wrestler, the Money in the Bank briefcase? I don't really understand that. Nobody thinks he's going to win the title. Even then, nobody even thought he would be a Universal Champion. Nobody thinks by looking at him he's a Universal Champion. Nobody thought he was going to take it off Strowman. Nobody thought he was going to take it off Bray Wyatt. And now that Roman Reigns is the champion, you think that Vince McMahon's going to book Otis to take the fucking title off of Roman Reigns? Otis in no way, shape, or form looks like a WWE Universal Champion. Why did you give it to him? Oh, that's right. Otis was your favorite toy of the month. And now you're thinking back as to why you did it. And now you're looking for a way out of the terrible creative decision that you did at Money in the Bank. Any one of those guys in that situation would have been a better candidate for the Money in the Bank. I would actually go out there and say Baron fucking Corbin would have been a better choice for Money in the Bank than Otis. Now, if he trades the briefcase for Mandy Rose back on SmackDown and Miz and Morrison get it, who's going to get it? who's going to get it between The Miz and Morrison. I don't want The Miz to have the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, what sense would that make? John Morrison? None of these guys make sense because nobody's taking it off of Roman Reigns. It's just a goddamn prop. It's going to be one of those things that sits around and WWE doesn't do anything with. They legitimately have no plan for it now. And John Morrison, man, my God, the guy is a quintessential picture-perfect Intercontinental Champion, and you got him fucking around with The Miz, who is a glorified fucking jobber. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now, the hair versus hair match that should have been with Sonya and Mandy would have been a perfect situation for, Sonya to win that match and have her cut Mandy's hair and then Otis just give it to Sonya just to spare Mandy's hair. But now we're talking about Otis giving it to the fucking Miz and Morrison to get Mandy back on SmackDown. My God, man, how the Money in the Bank briefcase has fallen. A once great concept is now nothing more than a comedy prop in WWE. Awful. Absolutely terrible. Dominik was interviewed with his family backstage, and Charlie Caruso interviewed Dominik and asked if Dominik is concerned about fighting in his first cage match. Dominik says if he wants to follow his dreams and follow in his dad's footsteps, he has to step foot into the cage. Ray says he's more worried than Dominik is. He said they know how difficult cage matches can be, which is why they're going to be at ringside to support him. Ray said after all Seth has done to their family, the real question is whether Seth should be concerned about Dominik. And we got the cage match. Dominik versus Seth Rollins in the cage. They made a big deal about it. The cage was being constructed right then and there on Monday Night Raw because it couldn't hang from the Thunderdome because of all the Thunderdome, shit that they got going on inside the Amway Center. But this was not bad. Dominik continues to impress, even though there are people online, on Facebook, from what I read and what I seen on Twitter, people hating on Dominik. I don't know why. Do I think he should be a top babyface on Monday Night Raw? Absolutely fucking not. But I'm not going to sit here and shit on the kid for being 22 years old. At 22 years old, what he's been doing on Monday Night Raw has been better than a lot of people that I don't like in WWE. But I wouldn't necessarily make him the number 1, number 2, number 3 babyface on Monday Night Raw. I mean, after this feud with Seth Rollins, I don't know what the fuck you do with Dominik. Really, I don't. A lot of people say Dominik should have went back down to NXT. He should go to NXT. Vince McMahon will not move Dominik to NXT because I'm sure Dominik is a hit in the key demographics, is what I reported on off the script. But after this feud is over with Rollins and Mysterio and the Mysterio family, what is Dominik going to do on Monday night? Who is he going to feud with? I don't know. Maybe he and his father challenge for the tag team titles. That's an idea. I don't necessarily like that idea, but that's an idea. Or better yet, how about we send Dominik down to NXT and maybe just like I pitched the Lucha House Party, feuding with Legado del Fantasma, why don't you have Dominik Mysterio go down and feud with somebody who's trying to reimagine the luchador style? Isn't Rey Mysterio the greatest luchador of all time? How about Dominik go back down, or go, I don't even think he was in NXT, go back to Full Sail, train, and feud with Legado del Fantasma over the Cruiserweight title. That would be a good storyline. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do on Monday Night Raw. He's not going to be challenging for major championships anytime soon, and nor should he. I don't think he necessarily needs to take a fucking roster spot away from somebody well on their way to being more deserving of that, just based on the time that they've given Monday Night Raw. Like a Ricochet or an Ali or an Apollo. Guys like that, Aleister Black, Kevin Owens. Dominik has a higher spot on the card than everybody I just mentioned combined. Why are we not getting Dominik in NXT? I think he would be great there. I mean, Charlotte Flair started off at NXT, right? The Rock's Simone Johnson's going to start off in NXT. Why are we not getting Dominik to start in NXT? I don't really understand it. Him feuding over the Cruiserweight title and going after the one title that his father made famous. I mean, what? It fucking writes itself. It writes itself. What is he going to do on the main roster? Was he going to challenge Bobby Lashley for the United States title? Other than that, a team with Rey Mysterio for the tag team titles is the only logical thing. I don't know what else he could do. The match with Rollins was fine. Another gimmick match. But WWE needed a big match because NFL. So, moving on into this match we got. This was the start of the third hour, by the way. Rollins went after him. He crotched Dominik on the top rope. Dominik swept Rollins' leg, so Rollins was also crotched on the top rope, so they were both crotched together. Both of their eggs were scrambled. So Dominik crawled towards the door. Rey encouraged him, but Buddy Murphy attacked Rey. Rey took a bump tonight, so I'm guessing that he's healing quite well. So Buddy Murphy attacked Rey for trying to help his son. Murphy swung the door at who he thought was Dominik, but it was actually Rollins. So he accidentally hit Rollins with the steel door. Murphy tried climbing to the outside, or from the outside of the cage to the inside of the cage, because Dominik was trying to escape the inside of the cage by going over the top. So Buddy Murphy climbed the outside, and he Dominik knocked him off. Dominik gave Rollins a frog splash for a 2 count. Dominik tried crawling out, but Rollins caught him with a big superplex and a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. Dominik then tried a schoolboy, but Rollins kicked out and hit consecutive curb stomps for the win. And this was a decent steel cage match. It was nothing more than aesthetics. Not really much going on in the ring. Dominik gave another very good performance for the time he was in there with Rollins. Some people say that Dominik is, being overexposed and he's not good and he's not this. He's good. He's good. I'm not going to hate on him. And I honestly think if you're shitting on Dominik, then you're worse than the people who tell me I'm fucking negative. Dominik is good. Do I think this feud has run its course? Absolutely. I don't know what else could be done. The only thing done now is Rey and Seth, and Rey getting his win over Seth Rollins, and that's it. I mean, we've seen Rollins beat Dominik now. How many times? So he beat him at SummerSlam, and he beat him here. So now Rey is going to be the patriarch of the family and get his win for the family over Seth Rollins, and that is it. And I hope this feud fucking dies. Dominik has been good. Rey's been good. Seth has been doing some of the best work of his life in this feud. I think the Mysterio family's added a lot to this feud. I'm intrigued by Buddy Murphy now. Buddy Murphy I don't know if he was kicked out of the greater good, but Rollins was clearly not happy with him. Seth approached Murphy after the match and smiled and kissed his forehead. Everything was going to be all right. But then he smashed him into the barricade and into the cage. Started yelling at him for not doing what he told him to do. He asked him how it feels. He smashed his face into the steel door. And then he yells, "I know, it sucks because you did it to me." So he repaid Murphy for doing that to him. Seth then walked over to Mysterio's wife and Aaliyah, Rey's daughter. And he told Rey's wife, "You did a hell of a job with Dominik. I hope she," and he pointed to Aaliyah, "does better," and he walked off. So they entered the ring, and Rey's daughter, I don't know if you guys watched, Rey's daughter kind of consoled Buddy Murphy. She put her hand on him gently as if she felt sorry for him. So we could be seeing Buddy Murphy. I don't know if he's going to get kicked out or if he's just going to end up walking out of the greater good. We may see something along the lines of Rey and Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy turning on Seth Rollins, costing him the match with Rey, and then we may get Rollins versus Buddy Murphy. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. So that is another interesting twist to this situation, but that's what I envision happening. Buddy Murphy's going to be with Rollins. He's going to think that there's nothing else better than what he's got going on with Rollins right now. And then when that time comes between Rollins and Rey, when Rey is healed, I think Buddy Murphy's going to turn on Seth Rollins, and then we will have Rollins go off into the sunset and be with Becky Lynch as she is due at the end of the year. We went to Raw Underground. Ziggler was battling a no-name, and then Riddick Moss stepped up. They battled back and forth, and that was pretty much it. So it was Ziggler and Moss in Raw Underground. I mean, this shit's got to go. At this point, where are all the people? Where are all the people that said, oh, Raw Underground is different. Oh, Raw Underground is innovative. Oh, Raw Underground's making the show better. Yeah, that's why the show got a 1.7 on Labor Day. Oh, but JD, it's Labor Day. Yeah, what about last year's Labor Day when they got a 2.5? So where did all those people go? And the year before that, which I'm sure it was higher. Raw Underground is not helping. Raw Underground is absolutely a waste of fucking time. It is everything that you should not be doing in helping Monday Night Raw get better. It makes it worse. I'm tired of complaining about it. Caruso interviewed McIntyre about facing Keith Lee later. Drew says he ran in against Orton just after Orton hit the RKO. And he said he's not saying Lee wouldn't have kicked out. He shouldn't have. Never mind wouldn't have. Shouldn't have. But Randy won 13 WWE titles with that move, and maybe if he hit him with that at SummerSlam, he wouldn't be standing there as champion. Keith Lee then walked up to Drew and then asked Charlie Caruso to leave them one-on-one to talk. Lee said they're supposed to be friends. Oh, really? Really? They're friends. I'm so glad that WWE commentary really highlighted that over the last couple of weeks while you were battling Randy Orton one-on-one. Some friend. Supposed to be friends, and he's not happy with what he said. Drew said not to spin his words. Lee said, it sounds like he believes Orton would have beaten him, but the fact remains the only match he did not interfere in is the match where he beat Orton at Payback. He said he seems concerned he might beat him tonight and then again at the Clash. Drew says he's not afraid of anyone. Lee says he has a larger than normal target right now, meaning Drew on the WWE title, and he pointed to his jaw. Drew slapped his hand away and told him not to do it again. Drew then punched Lee in the jaw, and then when Lee raised his hand up towards his jaw again, they started brawling around the backstage ringside set. Officials ran in and pulled them apart. Drew was yelling that they'll finish this later. So in this scuttlebutt, we got Keith Lee briefly showcasing his new singlet. So WWE put Keith Lee in a singlet. So they had him on NXT with no shirt. He looked fine. He had his regular theme music. He had his shorts. Then it comes to Monday Night Raw. They dress him in a fucking skirt. They change his theme song to some generic fucking Creator Wrestler number 96 theme on WWE 2K20. They put him in the ring with Randy Orton on night one, have him lose by disqualification. What a fucking night. Everything you shouldn't do for a debut, they did it. Then they put him in a fucking, I don't know what the fuck he came out wearing next. The next week, he looked like some Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z fucking character mixed with the Black Panther. I don't know what the fuck was going on. They put him in a shirt. They changed his theme music again. And now they got him in a singlet. I don't understand why you feel the need to change. Everything you do is going to be highlighted on social media. People will complain. Go back to normal with this guy. I don't believe the theme song. I think WWE changed it because they wanted to. I don't really understand why they got to change this guy's attire. Why did Vince put him in a shirt? And then why did Vince put him in a singlet? Why won't Vince put him in a regular situation that we've seen him like in NXT? Because Keith Lee is fat, according to Vince McMahon. Why does Kevin Owens wrestle with a shirt? Why does Kevin Owens wear a shirt? Because he's fat, according to Vince McMahon. I don't think Kevin Owens or Keith Lee or Bray Wyatt are fat. Vince McMahon thinks that they're fat. They're big men. So Vince put him in a shirt to hide his deficiencies. It's unreal. It's unreal. Why do you fuck with a good thing? Why? There was nothing wrong with Keith Lee. And now we got to see him in a fucking singlet. He looks ridiculous. Is he the Black Ahmed Johnson for 2020? Is he the new Mark Henry? Fucking Christ. Unreal. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Aleister Black and Kevin Owens got 7 minutes on Monday night after they were in Raw Underground last week. And Kevin Owens wins. Kevin Owens wins. Now, again, I don't understand it. There's no hype. There's no build. This is a match between two guys that both need wins. Yet, we're getting a match booked. And none of it makes any sense whatsoever. Why must Aleister Black lose? Why? That's what I want to know. How does a loss here look good for Aleister Black? Nobody knows. Nobody has an answer for it. None of you have an answer for it. Why does Aleister Black need to lose? What does this do for Aleister Black here? What good does this do Aleister Black by losing here? Why book the match if there's no logical outcome? What a fucking waste, man. Seriously. Unbelievable. Kevin Owens wins in 7 minutes. You would think that I actually took notes on this. No, I didn't. Nothing happened in a match between Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. KO gave him a super kick. Slow to get up. Black moved in. The lights flickered a little bit. And KO gave a distracted Black a stunner for the 3 count. And that was it. That was it. They cut backstage to where Lee and Drew were fighting again. Adam Pearce, the unofficial Raw GM, Adam Pearce, stood between them and said he will cancel the match if they don't stop fighting. Drew told Pearce, you should have let us fight, he says. Whatever. Riott Squad, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Lana. The Riott Squad are getting a tag team title match at the pay-per-view at Clash of Champions against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I had geeks arguing with me on social media. Well, they beat the Iconics. They beat the Iconics to become the #1 contenders. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I missed that in the fucking small-ass fine print on the graphic that I didn't see on the show. Michael Cole, for sure, did not mention anything about fucking title matches. Otherwise, I would have remembered. And when does beating the Iconics become a #1 contendership? Really? Is it shitty creative? Absolutely. Absolutely. Or is it a situation that there is no other teams in the division? I don't give a fuck who they beat. Every other team's a fucking loser. They are trash. Trash. Riott and Morgan are getting a tag team title shot. For what? For what? Because there's no other teams in the division. People want to tell me they beat the Iconics. That's how they became the #1 contenders. Really? That is a reason to give the team of Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan a tag team title shot. What about Liv Morgan pinning Shayna Baszler? That constitutes as getting a title shot more than beating the fucking Iconics. You fucking kidding me? The Iconics are dead. Good. The tears of the Iconic fans have been making my fucking thirst quenched all week. I love it. Trash. Trash. Riott Squad wins in 2 minutes. Natalya and Lana, what a fucking waste, man. This tag team division is absolutely a fucking waste, if I've ever seen one. So we got a Riott kick. I believe it was on Lana for the win. Buried was Lana. After the match, Jax and Baszler, who were on commentary, Jax, she took Lana, cleared off the announce table, and Samoan dropped Lana through the announce table. So, I love what Vince McMahon... Now, listen, Natalya means nothing to me. Natalya means absolutely nothing to me. But if you wanted to build Natalya up on her own in a tag team with Lana, God forbid, what you did to Lana here actually affected negatively Natalya as well. And I don't give a fuck who is going to say otherwise. It absolutely did. Whatever you did to Lana here absolutely affected Natalya at the same time. And please do not tell me, oh, it's a little too early to be talking about that. These two were on Monday Night Raw talking about being the GOATs or the BOATs, the best of all time, or whatever the fuck they were talking about. They were talking about TikTok videos and a new hashtag BOAT, I believe it was. Yeah, fucking pack these two on a boat and fucking sail them away. Get them off my fucking TV. These two have been built up as a tag team, as a duo together. And then the week after, Miro, Lana's husband, debuts on AEW. Then they want to bury Lana on TV. Why did Lana have to go through the table? Why couldn't it be Natalya? Why did Lana have to take the pinfall in less than 90 seconds on Monday Night Raw? Why couldn't it be Natalya? Now, I don't give a fuck if they bury Lana. Lana sucks. Lana's right where she needs to be. But WWE, for all the people that say Vince McMahon's a nice man, and Vince McMahon, oh, he hugged Dominik Mysterio, right? Vince McMahon was on fucking camera, you geeks. Of course he was going to be nice. He buried Lana because he can, because her husband is now working for the enemy. And how soon before Lana asks for her release and doesn't get it? Give me a break. Petty. Unnecessary and petty is Vince and WWE. They're going to have a field day with Lana. This is going to be an every week thing. What's next? The Kiss My Ass Club. Fucking ridiculous, man. Pettiness in WWE at an all-time high, man. All it shows you is that they got AEW on the mind, and AEW's got every one of them fucking people in the back on fucking strings, man. They're the puppet man. Tony Khan is the puppet master. Moving on. Braun Strowman was beating up multiple people on Raw Underground. It's unbelievable to me. Oh, Braun Strowman's on Raw Underground, man. This is so cool, right? I guess he gave up on his Universal title, right? He doesn't give a fuck about getting his Universal title back. Must be fucking sad, right? Goes from Universal to... He shouldn't have been in that situation to begin with anyway. He was a fill-in for the Universal title because Roman was out because of COVID procedures and concerns. So he was gifted a Universal title that he never fucking deserved in the first place. But my God, man, how does it feel to be Braun Strowman to go from being Universal Champion to now competing on Raw Underground? Unbelievable. Shouldn't this guy go after his Universal title? I guess he doesn't give a shit about the Universal title. He doesn't give a shit. He'd rather just go to Raw Underground and escape all of his problems on SmackDown. Couldn't be me. I'd be going right after that title, but I guess Braun Strowman is too fucking dumb to realize that, hey, maybe I should go after Roman Reigns' Universal title again. You got beat up by an Uso, clown. Moving on here. Nobody gives a fuck about... Listen, they got Braun Strowman and Daba Kato next week on Raw Underground. Is it going to be interesting? It's two big guys in the fucking ring together beating the shit out of each other. Who doesn't enjoy that? But I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, man. The Raw Underground shit has got to go. It has not helped. It was only a shot in the dark to fix a dying show for whatever fucking 5 minutes it was on. Now, it's just overstayed its welcome. That's what I think of Raw Underground. Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. What else is new? Ended in a no contest. I could have told you this fucking last week when the match was made. There was no logical outcome here. Keith Lee couldn't lose. I mean, WWE hasn't pinned him yet, but he's lost on Monday night. He couldn't lose. Drew McIntyre's the WWE champion. No fucking way on any planet should the WWE champion lose on free TV. Should he be losing on free TV? So we got a no contest here. Lee booted McIntyre in his injured jaw, knocking him out of the ring. Lee hit him in the jaw again, but McIntyre fought back. Did a belly-to-belly suplex followed by a flying clothesline. Lee blocked the DDT, but McIntyre hit a spine buster for 2. Lee came back with a clothesline for a 2 count of his own. They fought on the turnbuckles, and Lee nailed a superplex off the second rope for 2 after McIntyre slipped out of a spirit bomb attempt. They collided with double cross body attempts. So they got to their feet, and all of a sudden, Retribution came out of nowhere and put an end to this match. Retribution swarmed Drew and Keith Lee. There was at least 12 to 15 of them. I didn't really count, but that's just a guess. There was 5 of them in the back, I believe, or 6, just like last week. And then they doubled in the main event. I even put out a tweet. I'm like, we all know this is going to a no contest because Keith Lee can't lose and Drew McIntyre can't lose. It's either Randy Orton coming out, which would have looked fucking ridiculous because he needed to be home to sell his injuries, or it's Retribution. Where's Retribution? Did they take the night off after their promo and go to the goddamn bar? But they ended up coming out. They put a stop to the main event. It was a no contest. The Hurt Business came out and they walked to the stage. Retribution jumped to the ringside and called them to the fight. Hurt Business accepted the offer. They brawled at ringside. Lee and Drew see all these men fighting on the outside. They both do topes over the top. And they take everybody out, and they stood tall as the show went off the air. Now, I will say this. It looks good for the Hurt Business because everybody else was being treated like fucking jobbers when Retribution was out there. It makes the Hurt Business look good by standing toe-to-toe with 12 fucking Retribution members, okay? Makes them look good because they were only 4. But Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre, they took out everybody on the outside and they stood tall. Keith Lee in his fucking singlet, right? Now, Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee have battled for years. Well before they entered the WWE and even in NXT over the North American Championship. I think Dominik Dijakovic even got a NXT title match out of it, right? Against Keith Lee, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it was another attempt at the North American title. Who the fuck knows? They've wrestled like 5 or 6 different times in NXT, okay? When Karrion Kross and Keith Lee and that feud was being built up for the NXT title, Dominik Dijakovic was taken out by Karrion Kross. On one week, he got mauled in the back. And then in the next week, we had Karrion Kross choke him out. And Keith Lee was out there, and Dominik Dijakovic didn't want his help, but he was out there just in case he needed the help. Keith Lee could have done the friendly thing, the best friend thing, and get involved knowing that his friend was being choked out right in front of him, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And then Keith Lee lost the title to Karrion Kross, so Karrion Kross was being built up as this fucking killer. He took out Dijakovic, he took out Lee. Lee didn't help Dijakovic, he was choked out, etc., etc. Now they're both on the same brand, and now they're both on Monday Night Raw, right? You got Dominik Dijakovic leading Retribution. Keith Lee is in a main event spot on Monday night. Why he's in the WWE title program, I don't know. I don't know at all. But now with this no contest, you know, we may get a triple threat match, a triple threat ambulance match at the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. Doesn't really necessarily sound good to me, a triple threat ambulance match, but it was a no contest. And Keith Lee needs a match at the pay-per-view, right? You're not going to not put him on the pay-per-view. So they'll probably put him in a triple threat, and Randy Orton will probably throw Keith Lee into the fucking ambulance. And they're going to use Keith Lee as a situation. Maybe Retribution comes out and fucking does it all over again and seeks retribution against Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre. Maybe they help Randy Orton win the title. I don't know. The point I'm trying to get at is we now have Dominik Dijakovic leading Retribution. You can get Keith Lee out of this fucking, no contest, losing by DQ mess in this title program, in this feud with Orton and McIntyre that he does not belong in right now. You have a feud waiting for him in Dominik Dijakovic. And you could use that spot, that one chokehold by Cross on Dijakovic where Lee did not help. You could use that as why he is seeking retribution. You failed me as a friend. Now I'm seeking my revenge. What his girlfriend is doing in retribution, I don't fucking know. I don't know how you're going to tell that story. I really don't. You let me down in our feud with Johnny Gargano. I don't fucking know what happened there. I don't know. But Mercedes Martinez was there. Mia Yim was there. Dio Madden was there. Dominik Dijakovic was there. Some people said the other gentleman was Mojo Rawley. Some people tonight were saying it was Shane Thorne. I thought I seen one of the fucking Forgotten Sons under the mask tonight. There might have been a bunch of no-names, but I thought I seen Steve Cutler from the Forgotten Sons under the mask, under one of the masks. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Retribution, but you got a ready-made feud for Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic right there. And you could tell that story right there. Get him out of this situation. What is he doing? If he's not winning the title, why is he here? You're not making him look good. You're doing him no favors at all. Why? No contest. Losing by DQ, losing by DQ, losing by DQ. Not really what I call a success on the main roster. Yeah, he's in the main event. Yeah, he's in the WWE, title picture with Drew McIntyre. Yeah, he's in the ring with the WWE champion. Yeah, he beat Randy Orton on pay-per-view. But what has he got to show for it? What has he got to show for it? Nothing. Nothing. He feels as ordinary as anything else on Monday Night Raw. And you're putting him in these situations. Like I said, if he's not winning the title, get him out of there. And save it for another day when he's ready. Other than that, why book the match if it doesn't mean he's going over? Why book the match? Why book the match? He beat Randy Orton on pay-per-view, and what has it amounted to? Nothing. Nothing. Now they're going to move on to Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, probably a clash, probably at the Hell in a Cell. And where does Keith Lee fit into all this? Where does he fit into all of it? What makes you believe? What is WWE going to make you? How are they going to make you believe Keith Lee deserves the WWE title over Randy Orton in this situation? You can't. You can't. There's nobody watching this show that's going to say Keith Lee deserves the WWE title over Randy Orton. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. And if you do, you're a fool. So why is he even there? Why is he even being booked in this situation? Because WWE is fucking clueless. This show sucked. Absolutely fucking sucked. Retribution doesn't feel big. They got fucking taken out at the end of the show. They got taken out by two men. I'm supposed to believe these guys are going to wreak havoc in WWE. They got taken out by two fucking guys tonight. How do they feel special? How do they feel special in all this? Really? I don't know. Are they going to address the situation with Keith Lee? Is he going to be added to the title match at Clash of Champions? I'm assuming. You already made it an ambulance match. Keith Lee going to be added to that? Time will tell. Time will tell. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. That's the Monday Night Raw review, guys. Lot to complain about tonight, bro. Lot to complain about. Show was terrible. In your trash, Raw. In your trash, Raw, man. Being that the review portion is over, man. If you guys want to hang around for some super chats, I'm taking some super chats now. We'll go over, we'll hang out. And then I have a 9 a.m. gym appointment in the morning, man. I'm back in the gym, finally. Jesus fucking Christ. Finally back in the gym. Let's go over these super chats, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Hit that like button, man. 719 likes. Get it up. Get it up. Let's get it close to 1,000. Super chats are open. What do we got here, man? Dylan's Wrestling Stuff with a $1 super chat. Thank you, man. Jesus, man. Who the hell is this? Christian. I'll leave it at that. Christian became a new member of the channel, man. Thank you so much. I see you, Mr. Castle, in the chat. Yeah, Jim is open. In my complex, anyway, the gym is open. I'll be in the gym at 9 a.m. I only got an hour. I gotta make it count. No roids for me, man. I'll tell you who's on. Gotta be. I don't even want to say, man. My brother's a guitarist, man. He looks bigger than fucking. He looks bigger than He looks like he could be in the ring. That's how big he is. Tony, the guitarist. Condition Critical. Chaos Sanctuary, Legionary. He looks fucking... Just look at his Instagram page, man. Jesus Christ. Gregory, $9.99. I hated Monday Night Raw in the trash so much tonight that I don't even care. Nothing on this show made any sense, and I hope Monday Night Football stomps the crap out of Vince in the ratings. Bro, the ratings are going to be the worst ever tomorrow. I guarantee you, the worst ratings ever from Monday Night Raw. Oh, but JD, it was Monday Night Football. As if Monday Night Football hasn't fucking been on ABC, ESPN for the last fucking 60 years, right? Come on. Give me a break. Just like, oh, it was Labor Day. 1.7 on Labor Day. Last year on Labor Day, you don't think I know, 2.5. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Jacob Donnelly, what's up, brother? Calling a 1.5 tomorrow. I don't know who would have rather watched this show over football. You're looking at him. Unfortunately, it's my job. Robert Barnett with a $2 super chat. Hey, JD, sorry for disrespect. Love you, channel. I don't know what the fuck that means, bro. What is that? Well, you disrespected me? You're lucky you're still here. Thank you for the $2 super chat. JP. Finally, Retribution found a useful purpose for once. Doesn't change the fact that Monday Night Garbage delivers once again on an awful show. You want to know what I don't know? Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre stood above all 12 of these guys. Nobody in this company has thought of the idea. These two guys are out there. None of them have an idea to unmask any one of these Retribution members now that they took all of them out. Now, one single brain cell between Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre working in that moment to unmask one of these fucking clowns. Unreal. I don't believe I gotta watch this shit. Jacob Donnelly. Thank you, JP, for the $5. Jacob Donnelly, what's up, man? I'd love to hear some WWE shill try to explain how Zelina Vega deserves a women's title shot. Has she even wrestled a match recently? Yeah, she lost to Bianca Belair in a fucking 6-person tag, I believe. The last time we saw her. She hasn't won a match all year. Only in WWE can you wrestle a handful of times, win 0 matches, and they get a title match because they need a title match on the show. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Bradley Robinette, $2 super chat. I watch football. WWE Raw sucks. JD rocks. Thank you, Bradley. Sandro Gill. I believe this is a $4 UK. Sup, my man JD. Sandro, what's up, brother? Phil. $4.99. I was watching Monday Night Football but wanted to see what was on Raw. I see Zelina challenge Asuka for the title and turned it right back. I'm glad I watched football. Everybody that watched Monday Night Football, I'm pretty sure you've made, or we're happy that you made the right decision. Cool Jags, $4.99. Oh, bask in my burial. Bask in my burial, for he is limited. Limited, Keith Lee. Remember that. Like I said before, Keith Lee is buried on the main route. Listen, he's not buried, okay? I know when someone is buried. Cedric Alexander, we've seen him buried. Ricochet is buried. Bray Wyatt is buried. Ali, forget about it. He's buried 4 times over. Keith Lee's not buried. Keith Lee may be a product of fucking shitty creative, but he's not buried. You cannot be in the WWE and on Monday Night Raw in the main event and be buried. Come on. If there's one thing the community needs to do, it's fucking brush up on using the word correctly. He's not buried. I'll let you know when he's buried. Believe me. He's not even anywhere close to being buried. Jonathan Roche with a $1 super chat. What's up, man? Rick with an Australian $5. Thanks for my awesome shit, my man. And thanks for getting me into Alter Bridge, Iced Earth, and Symphony X. Ooh, it's a big trifecta right there, man. Symphony X needs a new fucking album. Michael Romeo better take his fucking ass into the studio and start writing some music. Iced Earth, man, John Schaefer. He needs to bounce back because the last Iced Earth album was not good at all. And Alter Bridge, Miles Kennedy has 2 solo albums written. And I think he'll be writing with Mark Tremonti sooner rather than later a new Alter Bridge record. I wasn't even that big on the last Alter Bridge record, but it was good. It wasn't anywhere close to what the last Hero was. But I thought they did a good job. The production was amazing. So hopefully they can bounce back and really give us that Alter Bridge vibe. I love the longer songs like Blackbird and Fortress and The Last Hero. Those are my favorite Alter Bridge songs. They absolutely shine in the 6-7 minute range because Tremonti is just amazing. Mr. Cake, $2. I bought the new Keith Lee shirt. It has the beard. I don't know what that means. Keith Lee has no facial hair. It has the beard? Why don't you go buy the new Wobbly Walrus t-shirt? That's for sale. Cool Jags, $4.99. Fuck Vince, fuck Bruce, and fuck anyone defending this trash on TV. Absolute garbage for destroying one of the most talented wrestlers in NXT history in Keith Lee. Yeah, but he's now a corporate shill, so anything negative that you feel in regards to Keith Lee, he's going to defend to the death because he's a WWE employee now on the main roster. And we, cretins, the plebeians on social media don't really matter. Vince needs to go immediately. I agree. Thank you for the $6. Cool Jags. Thank you so much, man. Mr. Cake, I thought Zelina was going to bring out Bianca. Now, why would that happen? She just got KOD'd by Bianca Belair. Why would she bring out Bianca Belair? Avery Watts, $2.99. Keith Lee is buried. Here's another one. JD, you are freaking awesome, man. Keith Lee is not buried. Please. Fucking ridiculous, man. Phil with another $4.99. Guess I got the ambulance match stipulation between Orton and McIntyre for the WWE title. I saw it coming and they confirmed it tonight. I think everybody saw it coming, bro. Where he got the ambulance from and why he drove it into the arena, I don't know. He got Scott Steiner trending on social media last Monday, though. Bad Bonzo 98, $5 super chat. Hey, JD, is the new COD MP5 setup making Modern Warfare for you enjoyable? And if so, when's the next stream on it? Love the streams. Bad Bonzo, what's up, brother? I will probably be streaming tomorrow, so look forward to that. Appreciate you, man. Twitch. Anybody not following me on Twitch, please do so, man. Link is in the description. Twitch.tv/JD from New York. New York is spelt out. It's not abbreviated. Mr. Cake with another $2. Hi, JD. You got to talk about that Michael Cole line. Which one? The one that there's no cardboard cutouts in the Thunderdome? I mentioned it. Cool Jags with another $1.99. Sorry for all the caps, but Vince pissed me off. When isn't he pissing anybody off, man? Maximus Sage with a $5 super chat. Remember when champ versus champ matches were a big deal? Yeah, me neither. Bro, WWE gave away more champ versus champ matches this year than any year I can remember. Desperate. It happened every week with Bayley and Sasha. Charlotte Bayley. Charlotte Sasha. Charlotte Becky. Becky Asuka. Fucking ridiculous. Tonario 128, $5. Who is both a good serious wrestler and a good comedy wrestler? Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, and a good comedy wrestler? I don't do comedy wrestlers, bro. I don't do comedy wrestlers. Comedy only gets you so far. Mr. Cake, $5 super chat. Usually, merging the divisions means stuffing the division onto one show. No, it means floating divisions. Floating champions. Meaning having women's matches on one show that directly affect the other show. Doesn't matter where the champion is. The champion's going to be associated with both shows. But give me fucking competition. Build women up. Build tag teams up through wins. And then give me winners facing champions. That's what I want. I don't really understand why it's so fucking difficult. It's not a difficult process to understand. 64, Panned, Q, $2.99. Tooth and nail match is greater than any 2020 Raw episode. Bro. No. That tooth and nail match was fucking terrible. Kev, I would not even consider Miro a good comedy wrestler. He's gonna be he's gonna be a comedy wrestler in the beginning. Because he's with fucking Kip Sabian. He's gonna be doing this wedding shit, but, I mean, he could easily break out and be a serious guy. He may be a comedy wrestler for a couple of months, but he's not gonna stay a comedy wrestler in AEW. Comedy wrestlers don't win championships. I see a big deal with Miro in AEW. Now, the tooth and nail match was terrible. One of the worst matches ever. Lakefront Studios, $9.99. Was that botched finish of the Mickie Asuka match Bruce's version of the Montreal screw job? Now, I'm no booker, but Zelina Vega should be getting wins on TV before getting a title match. Bro, listen. For anybody that says... Nick Aldis came out and said that Bruce is not screwing his wife over on Monday Night Raw. That is absolutely the fucking case. No question. Absolutely. They fucked over Mickie for whatever reason. It was either a situation where they thought the match was terrible and they stopped it immediately and they had enough, or they're fucking with Mickie and Nick Aldis. I would not be surprised about that. Either way, the match sucked. It shouldn't have even taken place tonight because Mickie James did nothing to get a title match. She was only in a title match based out of sheer desperation because they have nobody else. Asuka should be off TV until you find a suitable competitor for her. Give me a break. Mr. Cake with $5. Hey, JD, I was listening to Star Set last night, and I was like, this would be so good for Ricochet. Not the current one, however. The one with lasers. I don't know what the hell that is, bro. Star Set. Is it a band? Sways. A $2 New Zealand. The commercials put me off from the show tonight. Too many. Yeah, was in your face with fucking commercials tonight. No question. Mr. Cake with another $2. I'd hate to be in the same room as Aldis right now. JM1, $4.99. As a lifelong fan, I must say the product that WWE is putting out is pathetic. Pure trash. Bro, every year I say, how can they top themselves creatively and be worse than the previous year? They always do it. This year is the worst ever. Ever. Aquino Henry, $5 super chat. Is it just that Sasha likes to put people over clean, or creative likes to screw with booking women like Asuka and Shayna that should be killers? I don't know, man. WWE hates women's wrestling. That's the whole fucking issue here. WWE hates women's wrestling. Mr. Cake with $2. Buddy Murphy sure loves getting pinned to the wall. R-Truth said, I know some powerful people. He's right. I mean, the man has a picture with freaking Tupac. There you go. Rashi Copeland with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, bro. Lakefront Studios, $9.99. Dave Meltzer reporting that Mickie James was working the match injured. Bruce's beef with Mickey's husband is a major factor. Also, WWE had Nia Jax put Lana through a table to get back at Miro. I think we covered that all, Lakefront. I appreciate you following up there. She was injured. So why was she in the fucking match? Why did they book the match if she was injured? She did nothing to deserve a title match. Mr. Cake with a $4 super chat. Sonya lost the battle, but she won the war. Titus came for his head chef on Raw Underground. Oh, yeah, Titus was in Raw Underground again. I'm sorry, I must have glanced that one over. Pardon me for not giving a shit. Rashi Copeland with a $5 super chat. JD, what happened to Robert Roode or the Forgotten Sons on SmackDown? You take the talent and bench them. I don't want to hear no one criticize AEW. The Forgotten Sons got taken off television because of Jackson Riker. He made some really stupid fucking racist comments, and then he said something about Trump that people didn't agree with, which got backlash not only for him, but the rest of the fucking team. So they took them off television, hoping that it would go away. And then Robert Roode is stuck in Canada. Nobody can cross the border. Which is why Brock Lesnar hasn't been on TV. Nobody can come into the United States and cross the border from Canada to the United States. So Robert Roode is a part of that. But he did get traded to Monday Night Raw with Dolph Ziggler. So that's as far as I know about that situation there. Mr. Cake. Vince puts the Vin in vindictive. When I go to the Thunderdome, I'm making a support the IWC Flavortown sign. It'll probably get taken away, bro. I'm sure they got a vendetta against Guy Fieri after I hype him up so much. Marty Banks, $5 super chat. Sorry I'm late, JD, but having a few health issues. Doctor said I may have a prostate infection. Much love, man. Marty, get better, brother. Don't watch Monday Night Raw. It's only going to exacerbate whatever medical condition you have. Don't do it to yourself, please. Sandro Gill with the $2 UK. Thank you, bro. AWS Promotions, $4.99. I finally got my off-the-script black mask today. After 3 weeks, I ordered it. It feels great. Love it, man. Get your masks. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. I wear mine well, not everywhere. Only when I need to. Fuck the mask. Nothing more than a fucking agenda used for political reasons. But I gotta wear them, and if I gotta wear them, I'm gonna wear my own brand on it. Larry Lockett, $5. Monday Night Flaws and Friday Night Crackdown. I say Crackdown because Vince is obviously in the back snorting something. Listen, man, SmackDown's ratings were up. Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks Bayley are a draw. That's about it. That's about it. Show's not good. But Roman Reigns is clearly helping the ratings. Gotta give him that. Gotham Guy with a $5 super chat. Do you think Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan will win the women's tag team titles? Yes, they should. And if not, how cool would it be if Ruby left for AEW? She would be a good fit. She absolutely would be. Absolutely would be. And Mr. Cake, to elaborate, Michael Cole said, no one in sports entertainment cares more about their fans than WWE. Sure they do, right? Yeah. And I'm taking Tony Storm on a fucking date Thursday night. No. Never. Guys, I am getting out of here, man. I am getting out of here. I'm putting the fucking keys in the Mustang, man. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I got a 9 a.m. gym appointment downstairs. And this has been one hell of a Monday Night Raw review, man. We'll be back tomorrow with some extra. We'll be back tomorrow on Twitch, streaming some Call of Duty, some PGA Tour golf, being that I'm the best fucking golfer in the 2K community. My putt game is on point. So I'll be back doing that. So you guys got a full week of content coming up. Live streams all week. Raw, NXT, AEW, Should be a good one, man. Thank you guys for all the super chats. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below, man. Let's get that like button up. Let's get it to 1,000 for Monday Night Raw. I know it will be. Let's try and get 1,000 before the stream is over. Thank you guys so very much for that. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Get your masks. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to support the Patreon page. Complete revamp coming in the holiday season. Exclusive t-shirts and new era hats coming. So make sure you guys go and do that. And check out all the videos that you might have missed down in the description below. Guys, thank you so much. I'm getting out of here. Taking the Mustang and driving off into the fucking night sky, man. Away from this terrible fucking show known as Monday Night Raw, guys. Thank you so much. Hula Grim became a new fucking member. I see you, bro. I'll see you guys later, man. Love you. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you back here tomorrow with Twitch and some extra, man. You guys know I gotta let that guitar solo play out, man. Windows down, music turned up, guitar solo just glaring. See you guys later.